Gitu.
त्याचं का
Hi, ma'am. I had made you co-host, ma'am.
Hey Rahul, can you confirm?
Yeah, yeah. You're audible.
And visible as well, right?
Yes, right, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
Can you share your slide or screen share?
Sure, I'll do that. Visible? Rahul, is it visible?
Yeah, yeah, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I'll be there on mute, fine?
Yes, ma'am.
वो कैसे
Good morning, ma'am.
आणि बोलवलं तरी मी बाहेर भेटणार
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sonal.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello,
Good
Sonal. Hello, madam. Good
Hi,
morning.
good morning, Archana, ma'am.
morning, Archana.
Good morning, madam.
How many have joined?
Till now, 100. Zoom is not allowing beyond 100. Other
Your
will go on
registers
YouTube.
are 500, no?
Now, registers are 668,
Yeah.
but they will be joining through YouTube.
Okay.
Zoom license is allowing only 100.
Okay. So, Sonal, I really wanted like your webinar to be organized for the like your seminar was awaited actually. I wanted you to come and give some lectures to our students. Now it is happening today anyway.
Yeah.
Webinar.
Thanks to
You
you,
remember
ma'am.
we had discussed about this long back in Pune.
Yes, I remember very well, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Oh no, thanks for like giving your time to all of us.
No, ma'am, it's a privilege for me addressing MGMIT, being an MGMIT.
Yes,
It's
yes,
always a privilege.
yes, and privilege for us also to have you here. It's matter of great pleasure when you have your your own somebody addressing your students. It's a great feeling.
All the credit goes to you, MGM, entire MGM team for that.
Shall we start, ma'am?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Samruddhi?
He's on mute, Rahul.
Rahul asks Samruddhi to unmute. Samruddhi, you can start now.
Well, good morning, everyone. I
Good
hope.
morning,
Yes,
Samruddhi.
ma'am.
Please, Samruddhi.
Good morning. I wish you all a very good and warm welcome in the National Technical Webinar, Introduction to Cloud Computing and AWS, organized by Department of Computer Science and Engineering, MGM's College of Engineering, Nanded. I respected Director, Dr. Mrs. Geeta Latkar, ma'am, Head of Computer Science Department, Dr. Archana Rajurkar, ma'am, our distinguished speaker, Sonal Sada, an alumnus of our college and who holds 20 and more years of experience in training, support, and consultancy. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you
All
so
the
much.
dignitaries, participants, teachers, and dear students, I extend to you all a very sunny, sparkling welcome in this webinar. Well, we know the world is coping with COVID-19, a universal pandemic, and we are trying to blend into a new lifestyle where means of education, banking, business, and other communal chains of society are transforming to online platforms. Well, as it said, the show must go on. So here we are, accepting new trends. We have organized this national webinar so you can comfortably, being at your home, learn this new technology. Well, so moving on with our today's session, I would like to request Dr. Archana Rajurkar, Head of CSC Department, to present an absolute idea about today's national webinar.
Thank you, Samruddhi. Respected Director, Madam, today's eminent speaker and our bright alumna, Ms. Sonal Sarada, who is a freelance corporate trainer at Bangalore. My faculty colleague friends and dear students, a very good morning and warm welcome to you all to our department's first national level technical webinar on Introduction to Cloud Computing and Amazon Web Services. Cloud computing is the future and one of the most attractive technological evolution witnessed in the field of technology. Everything nowadays runs on cloud. From companies to users, everybody relies on cloud directly or indirectly. Recent report says that companies now run around 80% of their workload in the cloud. This is because cloud computing helps in reducing a considerable amount of capital expenditure and operational expenditure. An organization does not need to invest in hardware, storage devices, and software, etc. And only you have to pay for resources you utilize. You don't have to invest in costly hardware and software. I'm very glad to see that with one request of mine, Sonal has accepted our invitation and agreed immediately to deliver this webinar on the hot topic, that is cloud computing. Sonal has got wide experience of training in corporate companies since last 20 plus years. So I'm sure that the webinar is going to be an excellent one. I thank Sonal from my bottom of heart for accepting our invitation and sparing time for all of us. This COVID lockdown holidays have provided all of us a very good opportunity to learn new things, new technologies, and upgrade ourselves. So let's take advantage of it and improve our knowledge. I thank our director, Madam, Dr. Mrs. Geeta Latkar, for providing every support required to organize this online mega event. Finally, I thank my faculty colleagues of our department, Mr. Rahul Bisin, Mr. Junaid, and the student coordinators of CSI and CUC for working very hard, relentlessly to organize this mega event for which more than 600 people have already registered. So without wasting time, now I would like to request our director, Madam, to share her views on this occasion. Thank you, Madam.
Hello, dear Sonal.
Hello, ma'am, once again.
Archana madam and faculty colleagues, friends and dear student friends. I'm very happy to be part of this webinar. The reason is double. I mean, the computer department is going like really with the speed, uh, organizing many activities. I mean, e-activities, and the enthusiastic student and faculty are, are running, and there is inspirational leadership of Archana madam behind all this, organizing the things, and computer department is doing really well. And then second reason for the pleasure is Sonal is giving this webinar, who happens to be a corporate trainer. Years back we had met in Pune. Like recently she had been here for the get together of alumni get together in the month of November end, I think, around, right? It was 27th, 28th November.
December.
Yeah.
December, 27 December.
Yeah.
December, yeah, December, not November. The 8, 10, 10 December was the conference.
Yes.
January the conference took place, and
January.
yeah. And end of December 19. These batch of 96 had been here, 95, 96.
94.
94.
Yes.
For completed 25 years.
Yes, correct.
I always, because there were some students of 96 as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So many of them came, yeah. So like we had a nice time together, and we had discussed this years back that Sonal should, because she happens to be a corporate trainer, I wanted her to come, but that could never happen. Now it is again Archana has contacted, and it's happening today. I'm very happy for that. So like one of our student became the corporate trainer and has made a like niche for herself in the corporate world. Like for that I am also very happy, and through her now when our students are getting exposed to the corporate world and to the concepts like AWS and cloud computing, it's matter of great pleasure. What cloud computing is, the concept is as old as, like, it started in 60s, I suppose. But AWS is a recent thing that has started in 2006. It was started from South Africa, right? And what they are doing is they are providing all the infrastructure, and it could be like outsourced. The companies don't have to maintain their own infrastructure. The concept is pay as you go, right? Like whatever you use at that instant, for that only you have to pay. You don't have to bother about maintaining the huge server and the networking and the database and the analysis of database. Everything is being provided by the cloud computing or AWS services. The AWS is a platform for, like, a new kind of platform for providing the cloud services. So this is just like, for me, I am a mechanical engineer, so I felt it is just like kind of Uber. You don't have to own the car, so but you can call the car whenever you need, and you enjoy to the equal extent. You have your own car for some time, which is belonging to you, and you are taking it anywhere from anywhere. Okay, you want, and it is available for you. Just like that, the computer infrastructure, this is optimization of resources. This is, like, this is smart use of resources. It's a sharing thing, and the small organization can scale up their business with the help of cloud computing and AWS. So, like, who else can tell us better about these these things than Sonal? So I'm also equally eager to listen it through the horse's mouth. What is cloud computing and AWS? And the new concepts are, entering into the field of computer technology. Okay, the hardware configuration, the size of the hardware, everything is, reducing to a great extent, and the capacity is increasing in multifolds. Thousands and thousands companies are getting support of cloud computing, and their business is being taken care of. They can concentrate on focus on their business instead of, focusing on and worrying about, maintaining the server, and worrying about their hardware. So, like, this has set the businesses free of worries, and they have, like, this facility has allowed the businesses to concentrate more on their own business as such. So, over to you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for those kind words, and really felt good that you are well updated, though you are so busy, and it was really good to listen from you about cloud computing. And guys, ma'am handles so many things. If you look at ma'am's portfolio, but she's so well updated, so that's really it's an inspiration for me. Ma'am was always an inspiration, not just was it's he's an inspiration for me even in today's date also. And thank you so much, ma'am, once again for giving me this opportunity to address MGMITs. And guys, you should be thankful to the entire MGM team because it's a great initiative they have taken. It will not only help to fill the gap between a campus and a corporate, but it will also create a bridge between campus and corporate. You are getting an opportunity to interact with industry expert, so that's a really a good initiative which MGM has taken. So you all should be thankful to Director Ma'am, Archana Ma'am, and the entire team who has put in a lot of efforts for this to happen. Okay, so let me start. Let me share my screen. And before I move into technicalities, a quick check from some of you if I'm audible and visible to you clearly.
Yes, yes, you are.
And yeah, thank you
Very,
so
very.
much. Thanks. So guys, as you have seen, any questions if you have, you can put that in the chat. Hope you are comfortable with the chat because we have many learners here, many participants are there. So it's not possible to unmute each one of you. So you can communicate with me through the chat. And at the right time, I'll take all the questions. Okay. So give me a moment. Let me share my screen. Okay, so hope it's visible to all of you, my PPTs.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So would like to highlight the agenda first. So as you all, that's been communicated to you, but a quick recap of that. So we are going to start with introduction to cloud computing. So I'm going to discuss what is cloud computing, why cloud has so much demand in the market, what was there before cloud, all that. Let's do a comparison. Then we will switch over to benefits of cloud computing, the job prospects in the market, various models, forms of cloud computing, and why AWS. Why AWS is a market leader, and in which category does AWS dominate, as well as various AWS services. And I would like to add a small demo as well, just to give you a feel of how simple and flexible it is. So let's move on and let's start with what is cloud computing. A moment. Okay, I'm not looking at the chat at this point. I will just focus on my presentation and then we'll look at the chat for the questions at a later time, right? Okay, so as you all can see, in simple language, cloud computing is on-demand provisioning of IT resources over the internet on rent. That's a simple definition of cloud computing. Now let me explain you what does it mean, on demand. Now on demand means, see, why the name cloud has been given. Have you given a thought on that? Why the name cloud? What does it mean? Cloud means, see, just like if you compare with a cloud which you can see, which is visible, available throughout the day, you can just step out of your place and look at the cloud. On a similar line, you can connect to any cloud provider. It's available, their services are available 24/7 throughout the year. So that is why the name cloud is being given, anytime, anywhere. The accessibility is there. Now, what does the word computing stands over here? Cloud computing together means computing. It gives you computing resources anytime, anywhere. You just have to log on to their portal and things are available to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, so that is on demand. Now, what is IT resources? What all comes under IT resources? See, to set up the IT department of any organization, there are certain resources which are required. Now, under IT resources, both the software and hardware comes into picture. If I talk about hardware, server, storage, network, gateway, router. If I talk about, and there are many more hardware components, the components which you can see. Now, if I talk about software component, right from the operating system, database, applications, tools, packages, all that comes under software components. Now, all these IT resources are available to you over the internet on rent. Now, my question is, why do we need these resources? What company, now see, many organizations, many enterprise customers are migrating to cloud. So what they were using before cloud? Let me check my audience here. I would like to post a question. What is a data center? Are you aware of data center, guys? A quick question, some of you can respond in the chat. Would like to know if you are aware of a data center. Let me have a look on the chat to look at your responses. I have to stop my screen sharing because I'm not able to see the chat. I'll share it back. Okay. So data warehouse, Sriram has responded. Okay. Where all data of an organization is stored. Very good, Prasad. Yeah, guys, come on, respond. Centralized data computing. Okay, good. A group of buildings, fine. Where multiple hard disks are organized on multiple tech. Large number of servers, when all data manipulated. Okay. Good responses I'm getting from you guys. So a data center. If I show you, let me just highlight Let me share my screen back so that you can check. Okay, a quick. I hope you can see my screen. I'm going to show you the image of a data center. Any image if I pick up, is it visible? I'm not able to see the chat as I share my screen. Here.
Yes, it's
Rahul,
visible.
is it visible?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, thanks. Because what is happening, the moment I share my screen, I am not able to see the chat. Okay, doesn't matter. So as long as you're able to see this is a image which I am showing you, data center image. So can you see here? It's a big setup, right? A data center is the one. It's a big room wherein you will have all the resources required for the IT setup. So it's a huge servers are there. You have servers, you have storage, you have network, everything is there. Now, so far what was happening, then the organizations who are not using or who were not using, not migrated to cloud, they have their on-prem data center. Now, on-premises data center means they have to set up this data center for their IT operations. Now, just think about this, guys. See, to set up the IT operation for setting this data center, how much time, effort, and money is required? Can you just guess? What do you think? What do you think? How much time it should take for setting up this, like for this huge setup? Large amount of data storing places. Okay, months. Very good sign. So it's a month's process. Couple of months are required for a huge setup, right? See, first important thing is that you cannot just go and buy the server or buy the resources. You will have to do a capacity planning. How much is required? You need to understand your requirement. You need to understand your customer requirement. So you will have to schedule multiple meetings with your customer. You will have to schedule meetings with your internal IT team. And then you will get the clear picture of how much resources are required. Okay, so this process itself will take multiple months. Okay, fine. Now you have the capacity in your hand. What will you do? You will look for the resources in the market, isn't it? Now there are so many vendors available. Now suppose if you want to buy a laptop for your personal use, so many options are there available. For a personal laptop also we take multiple days, at least 15-20 days. We do a lot of research, we check, and then we zero in a product, isn't it? So for personal use we take so much of time to understand our own requirement, and then comparing that with the options available in the market. On a similar line, just think about a servers wherein you are investing lakhs of rupees. So you will have to do a proper capacity planning. Not just the capacity planning won't be based on the current requirement, but you will have to look into the future requirement also, because you are getting a hardware, let's say a server, which is coming with certain amount of resources. You cannot just scale it like that. Means it won't be as flexible as a virtual resource, isn't it? There will be certain amount of fixed amount of resources, or the computing power, memory, storage that comes with the server. So it will have certain limitation. Once that is done, you look for the options in the market, you get the zero in the product, zero in the server, and then you place the order. Once you place the order, once you get the server for your data center, what is the next step? What will you have to do? It's a raw server, right? So what has to be done? Yeah, can anyone respond? What has to be done once you get a server? Or once you let's keep it as simple as that. Once you get a laptop, once you purchase a laptop, what do you do with your laptop? Yeah, guys, what do you do with your laptop? Check all this. No, Abhishek, the specifications we will check while placing the order or before placing the order, right? Now we have already bought it, it's there with us. Customize it. Perfect. We have to customize as per our requirement. We have to configure. We have to, yes, of course, we have to install the operating system, we have to install the applications, antivirus, packages, everything, right? So we have to make it ready. Correct, perfect. All your responses are correct. So what is required? All the setup takes again time. So that's what I said, it's a month's process. Now, we are living in an era wherein customer cannot wait for multiple months. You have to offer the service to the customer as soon as possible. Because there is some other vendor who is offering at a faster rate. You can't just say that, okay, I will take 4 months or 3 months to offer you service. Right? So you have to be quite fast. And that is what the main benefit of a cloud: agility. Quick response, you can quickly deploy a server. It is just a matter of minute. It won't even take a minute to deploy a server in the cloud. Against, if you just compare against a month's process, which is required for a data center setup. Okay, now all the setup you have done in a data center, which is in your premises, which is maintained by your organization. So much of time is required to maintain that. Space is required. You have to look into the security. You have invested a huge amount, everything, right? So there is a capital investment. Now tell me, after some time, let's say in this month's process, let's say it took 5 months to complete the setup. Now within 5 months these days, it's a long duration, guys. Within 5 months, the business definitely will get changed, because we are living in an uncertainty, right? So we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. What if the business changes? What if the customer requirement gets changed? You can't say no to your customer, right? So what are you going to do? Whatever resources you got for your data center, now those resources are not getting utilized to the max, and it is not possible for you just to change it overnight, right? So that becomes a big challenge. No, Shri, reconfiguring up to like a software level, it's possible, but what about a hardware, right? If suppose something has to be changed on a hardware side, it becomes really difficult. You can't just change. And okay, fine. Let's say you bought a server this year, and next year you will get some new server in the market, which is giving you much more functionality at a cheaper rate, and it's required for your business. So what will you do? You can't just change it so quickly, right? You will stick with your resources at least for a few years. Vaibhav, it's not easy to replace. Do you prefer replacing your laptop in just few months? Yeah, Vaibhav, just 4 months, let's say some new laptop has come, do you prefer? It's not possible, right? It's practically not possible to change the hardware over a period of time. So what is required? We want some kind of flexibility. We want to utilize the latest things available in the market, right? So the latest hardware is coming in the market, latest technologies are there. We want to utilize that because our customer is demanding. So what can we do? So the best thing is that cloud. Okay, cloud gives us all these benefits. It is cost effective, as ma'am rightly said, pay as you go model. You are charged only for how much you are using. Just like a good example, ma'am has given Uber example. If you have booked a cab for 1 hour from one source to a destination, from one point to another point, you have to pay only for that. Against that, you own a car. If you own a car, what will you just buy a car just like that? You do something, right? You have to do some, you have to think a lot of things before you get something, before you own something. Before you buy a car, you will have to look whether you have a parking space available. If you're staying in a rented house, you will have to even pay for the parking, right? So you have to look for the parking space, and then you have to, if you're buying a car, you have to look the capacity also, whether you want to go for a 5-seater, 7-seater car, right? Suppose you bought a 5-seater car and then later your family has grown. Now what will you do? Can you fit 10 people in 5-seater? Not possible. So scalability is lacking. When you own some physical resources, scalability lacks in that, right? So that is another thing. And then maintenance. Suppose you are not using your car. Now see, in this lockdown period in Bangalore, everything is like nobody's going to office, everybody's working from home, and now all the cars are there from since many months, it's there in the parking, right? So You're not using that, but still you are charged for that. You still have to pay the taxes and all those stuff because you're owning it. As you own, the responsibility comes with that. But if you don't own, if you rent it, you just pay only for how much you use. Okay, that is the best. So all your headache, you are outsourcing it to third party provider. So pay as you go model is a very cost effective model. As I said, agility, that is another benefit of cloud, which will allow us to move quickly and easily. You can, there is no long-term commitment. If I launch a server now, next moment I can terminate it. There is no long-term commitment. Nobody will ask me a question and I'm just charged only for how much. I am charged based on the minutes. How many minutes my server is up. So that's a cost-effective model. And the most important, one more benefit is that scalability. You can scale horizontally as well as vertically. You can scale your resources. Suppose you have now, okay, I want to keep, see, these days we have huge amount of data. We deal with big data, petabytes, exabytes of data, right? Now, I want to store large amount of data. So I don't have to reserve certain space. I don't have to reserve a storage space. I start keeping my data as how much is getting stored and charge for that. As my data grows, the space is available to me in the cloud. I don't have to worry, I don't have to check. So that is the best thing. So it is scaling automatically. It is allowing me to scale. On the server side, on any other resources, I can scale it in any direction. I can add multiple resources. I can change the configuration of existing server, which is a vertical scaling and the horizontal scaling. Apart from that, I can reach to my audience in just a matter of minutes. I can reach to my customer globally. I can deploy, let's say I want to deploy the application and my customers are located, situated across the globe. I can just make it's available, like I can spread it in few minutes to across all the, I can say across all the geography, and within few minutes it will be up and running. So that is the benefit of cloud, global reach in few minutes and flexibility. As I said, no long-term commitment. Anytime you can launch, you can terminate, no capacity planning. And one more important benefit, as I recall, mobility. See, you don't have to even, suppose you're traveling and you would want to manage your setup, your data center setup in the cloud, you can just do that from your mobile also. You can connect from your mobile and you can manage your data center. So it is as simple as easy as that. So these are all the benefits of cloud, and these benefits are provided by all the cloud providers. We have multiple cloud providers in the market. Apart from Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure is there, Google GCP is there, IBM Cloud is there, Salesforce is there. So many cloud providers are there. Why Amazon is a market leader, in which category does Amazon stand? We will discuss all that, but hope it is clear to you what is a data center and what is cloud computing. Anybody, any questions? I'll just pause for a minute. If you have any question on this, you can post in the chat. Hope it is clear what is cloud computing. Do not hesitate. Suppose if you have any question, you can post me at the end of the session. Also, we'll have a separate QA as well. Okay, but be interactive. Only then that will create your interest. Else, if you post questions, you as well as others will also learn from that. So please be interactive. Okay, thank you so much. So let me quickly share my screen. Let's move on to next.
Sonal, I have got one query.
Yeah, ma'am.
What are the criteria to select the right cloud provider?
Okay, that's a very good question, ma'am has posted. See, ma'am, there are services provided by multiple public cloud providers in the market. Now, suppose I want to start my journey with the cloud. Now, which one should I go for? That is a big question, right? So the thing is that now, depending on my requirement, what is that required for me? Let's say I have certain requirement in hand. I want certain configuration machine, like some amount of processing power, some amount of memory, some amount of storage space. So I have already pen down all my requirement, and then what applications I want to use, which database I would like to use. So all my requirements are there with me in hand. Now what I'm going to do, I'll do a comparison. What services for this requirement? Let's say I want to launch a server. Now what service is available in Amazon for a server? Similarly, what is available in the Microsoft Azure or Google? I'll do a comparison service wise, because we have so many services, so we cannot just do a comparison like for just on a provider level. Okay, so we have to do it service wise comparison, and then if whichever match to my requirement, I'll choose that, because all the service provider has good services available. One dominate in one category, other dominate in the other category, but I will have to do a comparison service level based on my requirement. Hope that answers your question, ma'am. Okay, thanks. So let me quickly share it back. Okay, so as I already provided the intro to cloud, let me go to the next level. Already we have discussed the benefits. Okay, so hope it is clear to all of you. Everything has been discussed. I'm just checking, quick check. Yeah, and yeah, as I said before, we can utilize the latest hardware and software available in the market as we deploy our data center operation in the cloud. Okay, because whatever new things are available, it's readily available in the cloud. So that's the one of the benefit. Okay, now let me take you to the models of cloud computing. I am highlighting the three main categories here: IaaS, infrastructure as a service; PaaS, platform as a service; and software as a service. Okay, these are the three main categories. Now see, there are many cloud providers in the market, right? So they have so many services to offer for the customer. So their services fall under these categories. These are the various categories under which their services fall, or I can say type of services fall under these categories. Now let us understand what is infrastructure as a service. From the name you can understand infrastructure as a service provides you all the infra components. For example, server, storage, network. Okay, these infra components comes under IaaS category. Suppose if I want to launch a server, I will choose a service from this category. If I want to get a storage space, if I want to build my network, private network. So all these the services are available under infrastructure as a service. So now one best thing is that if I am launching a server, that comes with the pre-installed OS, pre-deployed operating system. So you do not have to do any OS installation task. Most of the cloud providers, they provide two operating system, Windows and Linux operating system. Okay, so I suggest you all please learn if you don't know Linux, because Windows that's graphically based interface, so you can learn default everyone knows, I can say. But Linux also very important these days. Learn Linux operating system also, because it's there in all the cloud. So whenever you're launching a server, these operating systems are pre-deployed with the server. So it hardly takes less than a minute to get the server with the pre-deployed OS, and you can directly connect. I will include a small demo at the end of the session so that you will get a feel of that, how quick it is. And the infrastructure as a service, the services which fall under this category are mainly used by the system administrators. Okay. Next comes platform as a service. Now again from the name platform. Now suppose you are a developer. You want to develop an application, you want to manage your application, you want to host your application. Now see, you cannot just host it like that, right? You would need a underlying infra components for that. You would need a server, a storage, you would need certain libraries, binaries, packages. Means you have to make the platform ready for your application to get deployed. Am I right? So, and yeah, if you are doing it on your physical server, you need to first install the operating system also. Means you need to make the platform ready, and then you can host your application. Now, what if you are from a pure developing background? Let's say you do not have any idea about OS installation. You don't know what packages are required, what is the prereq for your application to get hosted, to get deployed. Now there will be a gap. you will have to get the help of an admin to do the setup for you. Now the admin guys are not from the development background, so there will be a communication gap, right? And moreover, you will have to wait. There will be a dependency also. Now, if at all you are using the services from this category, platform as a service, it gives you a moment. Am I audible?
Yeah, now you are audible.
Oh, okay. I'll repeat the platform as a service. I guess there was a network glitch. Okay. Fine. So I'll repeat platform. Hope you heard me. IaaS, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So platform as a service, as I said, that gives you a ready-made platform for the developers to deploy to host the application. You do not have to worry about the underlying resource provisioning. That is taken care by the service provider. Service provider provides you the underlying resources. Not just service provider provides you that, but also maintains. Okay, so you just, the platform is given to you, you can quickly, and it will hardly take a minute to deploy your application. So this is mainly used by the developers, and there are many services available under this category in Amazon Web Services, AWS, as well as the other cloud providers also. Next, we have software as a service. What is this? Is it good to use pirated software like pirated OS? Why this question? We are not using any pirated software here. Can you please rephrase your question? Your name is not visible. It's just MGM student. Let me understand your question in the right context. Yeah, Prajwal, any concern, any question? Did I miss your question? No, we never, no, nobody encourages to use the pirated, but at the end, the third party has to install hardware. Wait. Prasad, the third party has to install the hardware setup for, yes, of course. See, Prasad, the hardware, the resources, or the complete IT resources are provided by the public cloud providers. Okay, so definitely they have to maintain that. They are going to maintain the hardware thing, and on top of that, whatever you deploy, that is your responsibility to maintain. For example, you are launching a server. Okay, now maintenance of operating system is your responsibility. If you deploy an application, that is your responsibility. Okay, to maintain the application, or if you are launching a database, maintaining that becomes your responsibility. So underlying resources, the hardware resources is a responsibility of the provider, service provider. And yeah, we don't, nobody uses a pirated here, all are licensed one. So even the public cloud providers, they provide the licensed version of the operating system and all. But the best part is that you are not charged for the licensing separately. Now the licensed operating system is being deployed when you launch a server. So that cost licensing fee is added in the pay-as-you-go model. So there is no separate charges for that. If your server is up for 10 minutes, you're charged only for 10 minutes, which includes the licensing fee. Okay, hope I took your question in the right context. Fine, Rupali, any question from you? Since you raise your hand, any question? Okay, fine. So hope it is clear. Now coming back to software as a service. Software as a service is a ready-made product which we use. And this is used by end user. See, I don't want to develop any application. I don't want to host anything. I just want to use it. That's it. Just like we use Facebook, we use Gmail. These are all ready-made products which we use. We use the features of that, but we cannot customize it, right? So it is whatever is available, that's a ready-made application hosted by the service provider, which we just use it. So that such type of services comes under software as a service, SaaS category. Okay. So these are the various models of cloud computing. I highlighted the main models. There are many more in the market now. Disaster recovery as a service is there, blockchain as a service, many more are there. Okay. As it is gaining popularity, you will find many more in the market. So anybody, any question on these models before we proceed? Rahul sir, hope you are checking the questions on the YouTube link as well. And if any questions are there, you can post it here. Okay, example of each, please. Fine. Shri, because we are going to have an intro of Amazon Web Services, so I would like to give you the services name under each of this category in the AWS. Is that okay? Or in general also? Fine. Let me just hope it is visible to you, my notepad. So let's say under IaaS category, all the services are provided. See, yes, of course, the services fall under various categories. Okay. And as you start using the services, you will automatically understand under which category does it fall. They won't highlight it like, okay, these are only IaaS service or these are PaaS. It will be there. I will show you at the end of the session how the services are listed. Okay. But as you start using it, you will automatically understand under which category does it fall. Fine. Now, if to keep it simple, IaaS server. Okay. In the data center, you would need a server, whether you host a data center on-prem or you host it in your cloud, in the cloud environment. Server is required, storage, means all the physical infra thing, network, okay, gateway, router, cabling, all these things. But yes, of course, we can't see the cables and all those stuff. Those are physical things, and here we just use all the virtual. Means we launch a virtual server, a virtual storage, a virtual network. Everything is virtual in the cloud. But ultimately, it is deployed on a physical thing. Fine. Okay. Now, if I give you an example about the service name in AWS, so for this category, we have EC2, which is used to launch a server. Okay. Another service we have VPC, which is for network. We have, I'm just giving you the popular service name here, storage. This is a storage service in AWS. Okay. So these are the services which fall under IaaS category. Now, if I say PaaS category, so we have under PaaS category, if I talk about the ready-made platform which is being provided by AWS is like the Lambda is there. I'm giving the service name. Oh my God, no visibility. That's what wait. Let me share it back. Give me a moment. Hope it's visible now.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Fine. So under IaaS category, as I mentioned, these are the resources which are required, minimum amount of resources required for any data center setup, right? Only Linux is available, no Sumit. Linux as well as Windows, these are the two operating systems being provided by the public cloud providers. Nikhil, see, you can use the, just like you launch a Linux, suppose as you mentioned EC2, if you have tried EC2 launching of EC2 instance, similar way, just like how you launch Linux, you can launch Windows as well. But the only thing is that connecting to Windows is different compared to Linux. You have to choose the Windows AMI. Okay. If time permit, just remind me. I would love to show you that demonstration, how to launch Windows. Fine. Okay. So let me just quickly. Okay. So these are the services, AWS services. Then we have a PaaS category. I'm just writing the names of the services available in AWS. Some of the service names. Beanstalk is there. Okay. And yeah, of course, we have RDS as well as relational database service. So this comes under PaaS category. And then SaaS, as I gave the example, Gmail or Facebook, all these like ready-made products. And the services in AWS, we have Workmail, we have got Workspace, and WorkDoc is there. Okay, so these are the services which fall under SaaS category. Clear? Okay, fine. Let me share my PPTs back. Okay. Hope it's visible to all of you, the PPTs. So we discussed the various models. Anybody, any more questions on this? If no questions, then we'll switch on to the forms of cloud computing. Okay, fine. So three forms of cloud computing we have: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Now, private cloud is the one which organizations have in their premises, what we call it as on-prem. They maintain, they have to, just like as I gave the example of a data center, that's actually a private cloud. Okay, so all the enterprise customers, they were having their on-prem data center. They were investing, they were maintaining and upgradation, installation, all it's their responsibility. But now, as I said, all this we are outsourcing it to the public cloud. So public cloud is the one wherein all the infra components or all the resources are sitting in the service provider premises. It's not in your premises. That is one thing. Another best part of public cloud is that we are using shared resources. Since we are sharing the resources, that also makes it cost effective. Okay. The same physical server is shared by multiple customers. Now, many of you will get a question, what about the security, right? Security is the most important thing, guys. Amazon has millions of customers across the globe, and not just enterprise customers. There are banks who are using AWS services. There are government organizations also using AWS services. The best example I can give you, NASA is using AWS services. So after that, I don't have to say anything about the security, because they are following multiple security standards. They have taken so much of certification, security certifications, compliance, all they're following to give you the best security. And they update the security. They use so many security features and they come up with lot of new security services. Okay, so it is as secure as a private cloud, or I say that it is more secure than a private cloud, because so many security features they are using, which is practically not possible for any individual organization to use all those features. So public cloud is which is the one which is sharing. We use in a shared resources, and Amazon Web Services, Azure, Google, all these are the public cloud providers. Now coming to the hybrid cloud, many organizations they're using hybrid model. See, they have their data center set up since many years, almost 2, 3, 4 decades. They have their huge setup. So suppose they don't want to disturb that setup, but at the same time they would like to utilize would like to take the benefits of the cloud. What they are doing, they are deploying applications, new applications on the cloud. They are extending their storage to the cloud. They are setting up a disaster recovery in the cloud. So they are using both the environment, the public as well as the private one. So that is a hybrid. A combination of public and a private is a hybrid. Okay. While maintaining their on-prem, they are using the services provided by the public cloud providers. So it is a combination of both. Now there is one more form which is quite popular these days, known as multi-cloud. A single organization using the services from few services from Amazon, few services from Azure, few from Google, means, see, I would like to take the benefit of all the good services provided by all the vendors, right? Why should I stick to one vendor? So it's like utilizing the best thing available across the platform. So that's a multi-cloud environment. Hope it's clear. Anybody any questions? Is there anything which fall under all three categories? Yes, of course, Abhishek. Good question. Abhishek, see, Amazon has services under all these categories. Even Azure also has. So there are providers who have services under all these category, but the difference is that Amazon dominates the first category, IaaS. This one, we have Salesforce, right? Salesforce dominates the PaaS and SaaS category. We have Heroku who dominates the PaaS category. So there are providers who dominate one of the category, though they provide the services in the other category. Okay, is it clear, Abhishek? Just request all of you to please select everyone so that your questions will be visible to all of you. If you select privately to me, your question won't be visible to others and they will be lost. Any more questions? Okay, a good question. How to encrypt the data in AWS? Sumit, as I said, security is the most important thing, right? Ultimately, at the end of the at the end of the day, we would want to secure our data. Data is the most important thing. For that, we are doing all the setup. The data center is nothing but where we manage our data. We secure our data, right? At the same thing, similarly, we would like to encrypt, we would like to secure our data in AWS. Now, each service provides you the encryption feature. Now, for example, I gave the example S3 is a service in AWS. It's a storage service. Now, whenever you are storing your data, default it gets encrypted. Okay, default it gets encrypted. But suppose if you want a client-side encryption, what we call it as a client-side. Let's say you would like to encrypt your data. You would like to provide the encryption key. Yes, that is also possible. So you can use your encryption key or you can use the encryption feature provided by the service. At the same time, database. If you take a database service in AWS or any cloud provider, that also gives you an option of encryption. Data at rest, you can encrypt. Data in transit also you can encrypt. So any form of data, anywhere you in any form you can encrypt your data. Okay. So you have the features, you have the options available to you. In this service itself, it's been provided. Okay, any more questions? Okay, Prasad says, if I take cloud subscription from AWS and send all my organization data on AWS, of course, that will be taken care by AWS, but when my subscription is going to end, at that time, what happens with my data? Okay, Prasad, there is nothing called as subscription. Let me tell you, Amazon provides a free tier account. Okay, so you can create a free tier account with Amazon. Hope you have heard about that. The validity of free tier is a year, 1 year. After that, your account is not going to get deactivated. But what will have to happen after a year? It will switch over to pay as you go model. Okay, it will not get deactivated. There is no subscription. Only you are subscribing for the plan. Means what kind of support do you want? Do you expect from Amazon? You will have to do a subscription for that. Whether you want to go for a basic plan, business plan, enterprise plan. Okay, multiple plans are there. Based on what plan you purchase, accordingly you will get a support, technical support from Amazon. But your account will be active. As long as you don't want to delete or terminate or deactivate, it will be there. Okay, whether it's a free tier or whether it's an enterprise account. Okay, next question is data. If data is encrypted, how the user will allow to use? Okay. Now, Sai, see how the encryption works. Whenever you are encrypting a data, you provide a key for that. And as you want to decrypt, you will have to provide a key. Like it's like a password, right? Which you provide for encryption and for decryption. So depending on if you want to share your data, you will have to provide the key. Now the thing is that what type of encryption you are using? The encryption provided by the service. If that you are using, it will automatically decrypt the moment the user try to access the data. Because see, not every user will get an access. You will have to explicitly give a public access to the data, right? It is not just see, you are posting something in a public cloud does not mean that it is publicly available unless and until you give the rights. You have to provide explicit rights. Is it clear, Sai? Okay, Shriram says, is this AWS what things allowed to end users? Let me read the question. Is this AWS what things allowed? Shriram, sorry, I'm really sorry I didn't get your question. Can you please rephrase your question? Okay, what all things allowed in AWS for the end user? Is that your question? Okay, there are many things, Shriram. It's like a mall. It's like a mall. You step in a mall and you get outlets of multiple brands. Now it's your choice, your interest. You can buy anything. It's like that. It's like a multi-cuisine restaurant. You have a menu wherein you've been provided with different type of food based on your interest, based on what in which domain you work. You start using that. Okay, so there are many things. So just hold on for a few more minutes as I'm going to switch to the AWS console. Will show you what all things are available for the customers. Okay, any more questions? What is the size of cloud storage? Okay, Abhishek, there is unlimited size. Cloud providers provide you unlimited storage capacity. You do not have to check. You don't have to worry about how much the space is available. You start storing your data. As I said, petabytes, exabytes of data are getting stored in the cloud. Okay, so Amazon claims that unlimited storage capacity is provided to you, so we don't have to worry. We can straight away start storing a large amount of data. What type of cloud is most preferred? Which type of cloud is most preferred? Shruti, you're asking about between public, private, and hybrid? Yeah, Shruti? Okay. So between these three type of cloud, which is most preferred? Shruti, it's your call. If you're an enterprise customer, that you will have to decide based on your requirement. You see, once you get to know the benefits of each type of the model, each form of the cloud available in the market, you will have to decide which one best suit to your requirement. Okay, it's totally based on the requirement. Prasad says, but what happens with my data if I will discontinue the use of AWS, switch to some other cloud service provider? Okay, Prasad, I am sure you will not just discontinue just like that, right? Leaving your data over there. You would definitely take a backup of your data elsewhere if you would like to discontinue. That is one thing. Or if you would want to switch from one cloud provider to another cloud provider, there is an option available. You can even migrate your data across the cloud provider. Okay, either you migrate your data across the cloud provider or you get the data back to your on premises. Let's say your data is there in the cloud and you have to move your data, right? If you want to switch back to your on-prem, and then you will discontinue. You just on the fly, you won't discontinue like that. I'm sure, right? Okay, next question. Any restrictions for the type of data? No, Shweta, there is no restriction, any type of data, just like a Google Drive, right? Google Drive, any type of file you can upload, it's just similar to that. There is no restriction on the type of data to be stored. Can we, okay, a question from Aditya, can we host our web application by using Amazon Beanstalk? Yes, of course, Beanstalk is for that only, Sumit. It is for hosting an application. It's a PaaS category service which will provide you the underlying resource. So it will automatically create an environment for you, and you can just choose the runtime environment in which language your application is being developed, and you can just host it in 3 steps. It's as simple as that. Okay. Happy to see so many questions and really liking the way you are interacting, guys. Good. That shows the interest of the audience. Okay, so shall I move to next? So we discussed the forms and the models. Okay, now moving to the AWS. Why AWS? when there are so many cloud providers available in the market, why AWS? Okay. Now, one important thing, as ma'am mentioned,
Voice.
in the year 2006.
You were not audible. Is there any problem, Sonal?
I don't know. When did you lose me?
Just last 2 minutes back.
Is it? Okay. Actually, what is happening now here? The climate is a little cloudy. Might be because
Just
of.
revise for last 2-3 minutes.
Okay. I'm not lifting the phone and then wondering, might be you guys were trying to reach me.
Clouds are creating problem for cloud computing. Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Rightly said.
Here actually it's the climate is very good. It's raining almost from many days. So that's why we are experiencing some power cut and all, which is turning off my router. Though there is a power backup, but there is a switch over a few minutes, 1 minute switch over is there. So just excuse me for that. Let me quickly share my screen. Okay, I hope I have the presenter rights, Rahul.
Yes, ma'am.
Not able to. Okay, there were few questions, I guess, which I missed. Okay, let me quickly take the question. Cloud is very big problem for this cloud webinar. Shriram, it's not a cloud problem. It's actually a local ISP, not even ISP, I can say. The power problem is there because of the climate over here. Okay, Sumit has, no, Saad has a question, Mohammed Saad. What happens when someone compromise the AWS service of an organization? Will it affect only one organization's data or all the organization? What is okay, which is present only? Okay, that's a good question. As AWS is a public cloud provider and we are sharing the underlying resources, so the important thing is that multiple, even the competitor data is getting stored on the same hardware, right? What if one data gets, if a data leak happens on one of the customer, will it impact the other customer, right? That is a question. So, Sat, no, it won't impact the other customer. Data, just like data security is taken care, data integrity is also being taken care by Amazon. Okay. So far it has not happened that the data has been compromised across the customer. Okay, so all now one important point I would like to highlight here, Amazon uses a shared responsibility model. So Amazon alone won't take the responsibility of securing your data. You as a customer is equally responsible to secure your data. Just like we open an account in a bank, and if we put the entire responsibility on a banker to secure our account, and if we are doing some net banking and not taking all the precaution and sharing our password with the stranger, then banker won't be responsible, right? So it is like a shared responsibility. All the features, security services, tools are available. We are supposed to use that to secure our data, and there won't be any data, you can say, data compromise or integrity won't be impacted. So that is being taken care. What's the difference? Aditya says, what is the difference between local hosting and cloud hosting? Okay, Aditya, local hosting is something, I can say you host something on your laptop or you host something on your on-prem server. That is a local hosting. Cloud hosting is the one for which you utilize the cloud resources. public cloud resources for hosting your application. Okay, is there any effect on time processing? Which one is faster? Okay, a good question in terms of performance. Which gives the best performance? See, Aditya, that totally depends on who is using your application. If the customer is within the same location, within the same geography, okay, that within or across a geographical location, that also impact the performance. And how far is your application than your customer, like the distance between your application and a customer, that is important. As the distance increases, the performance goes down. So high speed network is very important, required. Now the best thing is that, see, when you're doing a local hosting, you need to get a dedicated bandwidth to provide the application, to give a best you can say experience to your customer if the customer is in a different geography. But if you are using a cloud hosting, the best thing, as I said, we can go global, right? We can reach to our customer globally. Means you can deploy your application just near to your customer. That is also possible, right? You same application you can deploy across the geographical location. So that is how it works. Does AWS has any restriction for any organization or government? No, there is no restriction as such, Suraj. There are dedicated cloud for government organization, which not a general public will have an access to. Only on a special request we get an access. What is Amazon Lambda used for? Okay, Sumit, Lambda is a very good service, serverless computing. I don't know whether you have heard, serverless computing is the next buzzword in the cloud world, I can say. Serverless means without maintaining a server, you can launch your application, you can deploy your function, your program. So that's a Lambda function, serverless computing. Is there any restriction on AWS by government? Anil, yes, of course, there are government regulatory compliance are there. So there are few, I can say, geographical location, few countries who doesn't want to want their data to go outside their country, right? So that's why Amazon has so many geographical regions. Okay, so more than 20 geographical region Amazon has. So if you, let's say, Indian government doesn't want our data to go outside India, we can always choose the data center which is being deployed by Amazon in India, so that the data will stay in the same region. Okay. Abhishek says, I had read about AWS Lambda, which is known as serverless. Can you share more about it? Yes, Abhishek, serverless computing is the one in which almost everything is automated. Okay. The best thing about serverless is that, see, for example, I want to deploy an application, right? Now I will have to do a capacity planning before that, like for my application, how much amount of processor is required, how much memory is required, how much of a storage space, isn't it? Suppose, and okay, fine, I have done all that, I have deployed my application. Now my application is used by multiple customers, multiple users, right? Now the thing is that it can happen that my resources are going out of this one. Now I'm experiencing resource constraint, right? As more and more users are using my application, the performance is going down, and I'm experiencing a resource crunch. Now I will have to scale it, right? So that becomes my responsibility, though I launch the application in AWS, but if I'm launching it on an instance on a server, it becomes my responsibility, right, to scale the resources. Now, if I'm using a serverless computing, the difference is that it will automatically adjust the resources as per how much load it is coming on the server. So that is the difference. You don't have to launch the server, you don't have to maintain the server, no updating of operating system, no antivirus installation, no patch installation, all that will be taken care by the provider. Is it clear, Abhishek? Okay, next question from Siddiqui. How can we assure data security in cloud? Yes, Siddiqui, I already touched upon this question. As I said, it's a shared responsibility model. Amazon is taking care of securing the physical infra. Okay. On top of that, whatever you deploy, now if you are storing your data on a storage service, it's your responsibility to secure that. The physical security about the physical storage is taken care by Amazon, but the virtual security is your responsibility. And there are options, features, tools, and services available to do that. Okay. What happens if security is break in cloud server? Will the data is lost or data will be corrupt? Okay. Okay. What if a security breach happens in the cloud? Okay. So Sumit, that totally depends on what kind of breach has happened. Usually, a breach is to what I can say, to uh, spoil the data, right? To delete the data. So anything can happen. Data might get corrupted, data might get lost, anything is possible depending on what the hacker want to do, right? Yes, I am going to share the PPTs with all of you. We'll just share it with Rahul sir, and he will put it in the drive. Okay, so the link will be shared with all of you. Rajput, why you are making hurry to get a feedback? Are you not liking the session, Rajput? You are making hurry to share the feedback link. You just want to exit from the session? Yeah, Kali Rajput, any concern? How they manage data integrity and resource shareability among thousands of users? Yogesh, that is not our lookout, right? That's not something which we should be worried about. It is the responsibility of a service provider. They have to ensure security and integrity. Only then the customer will start using their services, right? So looking at the reviews, the feedbacks from the existing customers, and as I said, there are many banks and the financial institutions and all those the customers are there who are using AWS services. So that shows the security integrity maintained by Amazon, right? So how they are managing, that is not something which we should look into, because they won't share that, right? Okay, one important thing I would like to tell you, Yogesh, here is that, see, when we are hosting our data center in the cloud, okay, we are not maintaining any physical resources in our premises, right? So it is maintained by Amazon. Now the thing is that Amazon has lot of data centers to provide services to customer across the geographic location, okay? So Amazon has not disclosed the location of the data center also. From security point of view, Amazon has not disclosed even the location of data center. So that kind of security they are maintaining. We don't know in India where is their data center. There is a region, Mumbai region is there for India, but we don't know where is the data center located. Whether it's within Mumbai city or whether it's outside Mumbai city. Okay. Sumit, virtual security tools, there is no like virtual security tools, Sumit. There are services, I'll highlight that. Okay, I'll showcase you the services. And see, the existing security tools can also be used. Okay, you can use, okay, it's a question from Shivani. So Shivani, existing security tools can also be used. The one which you are using so far in your on-prem, you can just use it, deploy it on your server, and you can use it. Or you can use the one provided by Amazon. I'll just show you that once I get into the console, I'll show you. Shubham says, if we use serverless computing, is there possibility for data loss? No, Shubham. No. See, these things are being taken care, right? As I said, data is the most important thing. All the services are, at the end of the day, what is happening at the back end, it's actually data getting generated with whatever services you are using, right? Data is getting generated. So data security, data availability, data continuity, all this is being taken care. There is a redundancy being done. Okay, see, I am launching a server, but that my virtual server is getting launched on some physical server, and Amazon is taking care of the redundancy at a physical server level. Not just server level, but each component, like hard disk also will have a redundancy. Your like storage and your processing, everything has a redundancy. So the availability is there. So we don't experience a data loss as such. Abhishek, did you join late? I have already addressed this. How much cloud is safe? So the answer to this question is NASA is using cloud. Do I need to say anything after that, Abhishek? Okay, fine. So I'm not getting into the history of AWS. Okay, that anyhow you can get. Only why I highlighted this history. The first, as I said, the very first service or Amazon was officially launched in the year 2006 as a public cloud. Okay, so why AWS? Because it's one of the mature platform in the cloud industry, cloud computing industry. It's one of the mature platform. Customer satisfaction is there. You can just later, once the session is done, you can just do some research, check out why AWS, and look at the customer feedback and the reviews. So a lot of customers, as I said, millions of customers across the globe, they are using the AWS, and the customer satisfaction is there because Amazon gives lot of importance to the customer in their leadership principle. If you just read, go to the leadership principle of Amazon, they give the customer is on the top priority for Amazon. Customer satisfaction is very important. Okay, if even if you are using a free tier account, you will understand, you will experience that for any issues they will resolve the issue in no time. So that is what kind of that kind of support they are giving. Next important thing is that AWS, the interface, the console is, it's a very user-friendly interface. Okay, so it's very easy to use the interface and use the services provided by Amazon. More than 2,000 services are there. Services and products are there provided by Amazon. It's the most secure, robust platform. So that's why Amazon is on the top. Now I would like to show you something here. Give me a moment. Okay, I'll come to the questions. Let me just show you something first. I have put some useful URLs also in the visual. I would like to highlight that first. These are some of the useful URLs. So if you go through this URL, you will come to know the Gartner's report. I am just going to the Gartner's report to showcase you. Amazon is a market leader, is almost 7-8 years is a market leader in the IaaS category, infrastructure as a software category. And other researchers also, if you look at the Forbes report and all, you will find not just the Amazon, but the cloud computing overall market of cloud. So let me just quickly highlight the job prospects and the report. Let me reshare it. Yeah. So hope you can see the Gartner's report, worldwide public cloud revenue to grow by 17% in 2020. As I go down quickly, I would like to show you for the coming years also, the PaaS category services, SaaS and all, and cloud system infrastructure as a service 2020. So it's like year by year, and AWS is almost like 50. The cloud market, Amazon owns nearly half of the public cloud. So the overall public cloud in the market, the customers who are using Amazon owns 50% among all. So look at this. I have just put this URL also. You can just read out this later. And if you make a Google search job prospect for cloud computing, you will find n number of jobs. So I would suggest you guys, hope it's visible to you. Is it visible? The various jobs I am highlighting here. One second. Yeah. Okay. So if you can see here, software engineer, senior software engineer, software architect, development operation, cloud engineer. So there are so many jobs available in the market. Millions of jobs are there for cloud. So I would suggest you go to the job description and understand what is required in the industry. Okay, so that you can fill the gap and you can upgrade your skills accordingly. So it is not just learning of cloud computing or just learning of AWS is sufficient, but along with that, you will have to have some additional skills required. Okay, so just read out the description to understand the market. Okay. Sriram says wherever the database is concerned, SQL is needed. Yes, of course, Shriram, SQL knowledge is required. That's right. What are the secure usage in AWS? AWS SQL. AWS is okay. This question is from Pratiksha. See, Pratiksha, Amazon has both SQL and NoSQL database. It has its own SQL database product known as Aurora DB. NoSQL is DynamoDB, and along with that, it provides you the legacy database products also. Oracle, MongoDB. Okay, all those are available to you. Why are not discussing other best web services available rather than AWS only? Preet, see, it is not possible in one session to discuss all the cloud providers. Am I right? We have to take one at a time. We cannot order everything available in a restaurant, right? Need to digest first whatever we learn. So that's important that first we need to focus on one. And see, it is always good to target the top leader in the market, right? So that you don't have to struggle much. But yes, of course, just learning AWS is not sufficient. At the same time, you need to, because companies are expecting that you should be having multiple skills, right? So those days are gone wherein just one skill was sufficient. But now you should know AWS also, you should know Azure also, you should know Google Cloud also, because customers are, as I said, enterprise customers are using multi-cloud environment, right? So yes, of course, you need to learn other things, but we can focus on one thing at a time. I suggest you guys can opt for the beginner certification. Amazon, Azure, Google, all this has a beginner certification. Ma'am, you're saying something?
Yeah, the simplest answer is today we have decided the topic as cloud
Yeah.
computing and AWS.
Correct. So that's what yeah, so that's what, as I said, you should, once you done with one thing, once you reach to a comfortable level wherein you can handle few services of one provider, I suggest you can learn the other provider also, but don't start learning all together, because that is going to create more and more confusion, right? A question from AWS as SQL or okay. Sumit, I have already taken this question. Amazon has both SQL and NoSQL database products. Both SQL and NoSQL database products as well as services being provided. Is any security algorithm used to provide security? Okay. Snehal, actually, we don't look into those things because, yes, of course, there is an algorithm, there are automation done, but that's done in the backend by Amazon. So definitely Amazon has used a lot of algorithms and programs to automate the things. A lot of automation is done. So, but that is out of our you can say scope as a customer when we start using the services. In May 2016, hackers stole and posted for sale on the dark web 160 LinkedIn users and password. If this happens again, what measure to cloud? Yes, of course, yeah. Siddiqui, see, it does happen, right? See, whether it is an on-prem or whether it is the cloud, yes, of course, we can't say that 100% secure, but we need to ensure that we take all the security measures, right? As I said before, there are many such incidents which happened that was because of the improper handling. The professionals were not skilled enough to handle the things properly. So that was a human mistake. That is one thing. Second thing is that whatever things happened in the past, the providers have learned a lesson and have provided services for that, have given added a lot of new features to enhance the security. So you will find, if you just look back and look at the security services provided by Amazon at the beginning or a few years back and what is being provided now, you will find a lot of new things are added. Okay. Shweta, I have already addressed this question, so I request you please look into the, hope the recordings are getting shared with all of you, so you can go to the recording. But as I said, service-wise, we have to do a comparison. We cannot do just comparison like this. AWS or Google, which is most? Yes, Vaibhav, same answer for you as well. Is there any ongoing course on AWS training? Yes, always there. There are courses, there are YouTubes available. If you do a little research, you will find so much of material available online. You can do a self-learning, you can opt for any institution, there are many things available. You guys know how to do a research. Could you please throw light on fresher recruitment in Amazon? Okay, Shiva Prasad. Yes, that's a good question. Freshers. Yes, there are a lot of freshers getting recruited in Amazon. I myself conducted certain interviews for Amazon sometime back last year, and many freshers were there. I conducted training also for them. And but yes, of course, the main requirement is that you should be aware of AWS services, you should be aware of the AWS environment, and you should be at least certified with the beginner certification. That is thing. And but yes, of course, there are some additional things are required, like Linux operating system, SQL, and all those basic things are required to know. Okay, but yes, a lot of recruitments happen in Amazon, because see, Shiv Prasad, if you just think logically also, and otherwise also, if you look in the market, there are so many data centers which Amazon is managing, providing services to provide services to customers, right? So Amazon requires a person, professional, skilled professional to manage those data centers. Amazon is doing a lot of automation to provide these services. In the backend, a lot of things are happening. So it's quite challenging working with Amazon, challenging and quite competitive. So yes, getting a job in Amazon, it's really a good thing. But yes, of course, it's their interview process is quite lengthy, not easy, but quite challenging, and they are well paid as well. So you should keep that as an this one, or you can prepare. Definitely, you can get through that. But uh, do a proper preparation for that. Can you give your more time in upcoming days? You have shared all those basic things in very simple words, and yes, of course, Abhishek. Yes, we will definitely work out something. Okay, we'll take it. Will definitely. I am looking forward to move to next level as well. Okay, now just hold on, guys. I would like to show you some simple demo, and then we'll take up the question. We'll have a Q&A session. So let me quickly share the Amazon Web Console. Okay, quick confirmation if you all can see the AWS console. Yes, okay, thanks. Fine. So this is the, I have logged on to the AWS Management Console. Now, if you see here, you will find so many services are there. Can you see, guys? You have compute service. Under compute, you have so many services. Under storage, you have multiple blockchain, management and governance, and yes, which I was talking about so many times, security, identity, and compliance. So this, the list of services under security has been increased all these years by getting from the feedback from the previous customer feedback and the incident that happened. So many new services have been added to secure the environment, and then you will find migration, you will find database services. So as I said before, it's like a mall wherein you get everything. So you have so many different, you have IoT services, machine learning, so many things are there. It totally depends on your interest in which you would like to develop your career, right? So accordingly, you can focus on those services. A single person cannot learn everything. That's practically not possible, right? So you can focus based on your interest, and you can get into deep for the services. But yes, one important thing I would like to highlight at this point, there are four services which are the core services of Amazon, known as foundational services. So better you learn those, and then you move to any like whether it's a IoT, ML, or any other thing. And those four services are: one service from the compute, storage, network, and database. These are the foundational services, core services required for every data center setup. Okay, so first learn these four services. Under compute, EC2, storage, S3, VPC is under network, and RDS under database. Okay, so these are the four services, and then you can move to any other. You can get in depth into other services. Okay, now let me give you a small demo. I would like to launch a server. So it's, as I said, just a matter of minutes. So I am using Lightsail service here, which you can see the second service under compute, right? So I click on Lightsail, and okay, so it's asking me to create an instance. An instance is nothing but a machine, a server, right? So I'll go ahead with create an instance. and it's asking me location. As I said, we can launch in any location, right? Whichever location we want, depending on our customer location. We choose the region, the geography where we want to deploy our server or our application. Fine. So I would like to go with India and then select a platform, Unix, Linux or Windows. I am going with Linux. I select OS only. Okay. I'm just selecting operating system, Amazon Linux. That's it. I just select this, I scroll down and I don't do anything. I just go for create. Just going with the default things and you will find in just not even 1 minute, this will get over. The server will be up and running. I don't have to do the OS installation. I don't have to get the physical server. So that is how fast it is. And the flexibility is also there. I can, as I said, I can launch anytime and I can terminate. So it will get over in just few more seconds. Prajakta, you have big data services also available in the cloud. CLI, yes, Sumit, AWS has got now presently, I have logged on in the graphical interface of AWS, which is known as AWS Management Console. You do have the CLI mode wherein you access the services using the commands, what we call it as CLI tools. Okay. Just like if you are aware of Linux operating system, just like you for any operation, you use a high level command in Linux. Similarly, here you will be using the tools provided by Amazon. So that's a purely CLI based, but that's used by the developers. Now guys, can you see my server is up and running? Look at the status, it's running. I can just go and connect to the server and my Linux server is ready for me. If you know Linux commands, I'm just typing few Linux commands here. Can you see it so fast? So the month's time is being replaced with not even a minute, right? Suraj, Hadoop is also there. See, you have, that's what I said, Suraj. See, here everything is provided as a service model. You have the legacy products also available, as well as Amazon has its own product, which is offered as a service. Like for example, database. You have a product also, you have a service also. Okay, so it is there not just for one thing, it's there for big data, it is there for other you can say products also. It's been available. Fine. Now suppose I want to terminate this, so I'll just exit from here and I'll just terminate this. I'm deleting this instance and I'm done. So I am charged only for how much I kept it up and running, right? Okay, Nikhil says, why each time we get a different IP address? Nikhil, it's using DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Every time you restart your server, the IP gets changed. If you want, you can have a static IP also. Okay, let me just show you one more small demo and then we will switch over to QA. Okay, guys, I will come back to your questions. Few questions I missed, I guess. But let me give you one more small demo. So let's say I would like to host a website. Fine, I would like to host a website. So it's very simple. We can host a static website on the storage service also. Dynamic website, for that you will have to launch a server, but static website you can host on storage service. So it's very simple. So here I'm using under storage category, I'm using S3 service to host a website. So I'll go for S3. You can try out this offline. I'll just give you a few highlights, like few information on how you can create a free tier account that I'll show you, so that you can all create a free tier account and you can just try these things. Now, I have a bucket here already been created by the name MGMCEL. So I'm using this bucket. A bucket is like a folder. Fine. So I'm opening this bucket and I'm uploading a file here. The file which I would like to display as my web page. Fine. So I'll just upload it from my local machine. A sample file I have uploaded. Now, this is how we upload our data in the S3 storage. So as there was a question, any format file we can upload. There is no restriction on that. Now I just select this and I want to give a public access to this because I want you all to access this website. Fine. So I am making it public. Now I go back to my bucket. So I am going one level up. I am going with the properties of my bucket. And there is an option static website hosting. Okay, so I am using this and I have to provide the name of my file which I uploaded. So my file name is sample.png. Exact file name, don't make a typo error, done, save. My job is over, my website is up and running. The URL of that is given here on the top. Okay, so let me check if it's reachable. Yes, it's reachable. I would like to share this URL with all of you and would want to get a confirmation if you guys can reach. Okay, so just few confirmation. Check and let me know if it's reachable to you also. Cool. So can you see, guys? It has become global in just few minutes. Though I made it publicly accessible, all of you can access, but yes, of course, I can restrict also. I can restrict to certain users as well, right? So this is how simple it is to host a website. Fine. So yeah, mine is done. Now I would like open a QA, so you guys can post the questions you may have. Let's have a QA for few minutes. Any question which I missed, please, I request you to repost in the chat if I missed any question. Rajput is again back with feedback link. He's very eager to get a feedback link. Rahul sir.
Yes.
No questions? Okay. Siddiqui says, how many IP addresses are allowed for each account in AWS? Okay. Siddiqui, it is not based on the account. It is based on the network that you create. Okay, so VPC is there. So in that you have to define a CIDR. VPC is a networking service. While you launch a networking service, you have to define a CIDR, and accordingly the number of IPs will be available to your network. What is your job profile, ma'am? You are an expert in this field, very nice experience. My job profile, I am an MGM IT. Proud to say that, and rest you can check on LinkedIn. Are there any prerequisite for learning AWS? Yes, a good question. Yes, of course, there is a prerequisite for learning any technology, guys. So that's what, if you start with a beginner's course, you need to have a knowledge of the Linux operating system and Windows operating system. Okay, that will make you comfortable launching and using the server, because ultimately you will be deploying everything on an operating system, right? So you should be comfortable with both Windows and Linux, and then you can start your journey with AWS or any cloud provider. Okay, thank you so much, Pallavi, for those kind words. Are there any geo restrictions? Siddiqui, I have already addressed this question. Geo restrictions, of course, are there, set by the local government regulatory compliance, and accordingly the services are available. Not every service is there in each of the regions. Okay, so there are certain services which are available across the location, across the geographical location, and there are certain services which are specific to some regions. So yes, of course, there are restrictions. And even the pricing also differs, Siddiqui. We have, the price, suppose I kept my server on for 1 hour. If I'm charged some XYZ amount here for India, if I have hosted it in India, for a different country, let's say if I host it in North Virginia, the price is going to be different. Okay, because it's a service model, and service prices are always different for different country, not even just for a country, even for a city also that happens, right? Okay. Thank you so much, Shweta. What are the advantages of cloud computing? Hey, you joined late. Mani Ratnam, did you join late? We have discussed all the benefits of cloud, so request you to please go through the recordings. On AWS, is data stored in encrypted format? Yes, Sumit, we have server-side encryption, which Amazon takes care. So as you, it's default. As you start keeping your data, just like I uploaded a file, the sample file in front of you, automatically it got encrypted. So it's like default encryption is there. That is on a hardware level. And yes, of course, we can also encrypt from our end. How can we use clouds for institutional organization? Okay, very good question. Very good question. Yes, of course, you can use it in the best way. See, I am using it for all my taking webinars and all this for teaching purposes. I'm using it similarly in your institute. Now, see, those who are in final year, you may have to do a project, right? You can do a lot of projects on AWS. I would suggest rather take up certain projects, creating a 3-tier architecture on AWS, hosting an application, hosting a website, or there are many projects. I would love to share the projects. If you guys are ready to do that, I will share that with Archana ma'am, and you can pick up the projects and can do it as a final year project as well. And not only that, for your doing lab exercises and all, you have the things available in the cloud, right? So all of you can create a free tier account, and you can use it for your learning purpose as well. Teachers can use it for teaching, and you can use it for learning. Now, okay, important thing about the free tier account I would like to highlight. I'm just putting in the chat. You can go to aws.amazon.com. This is a URL, and you can sign up there. Now, the things required to sign up is a mail ID is required, password. Select the plan as basic. I repeat, select basic plan and select the type of account as personal. Okay, so that you won't get charged. Basic plan is comes under free tier, and to create a free tier account, you will have to provide a credit or a debit card details, credit or debit card details. But don't worry on that, because many people, the moment it asks for a card, they stop, they just exit, they don't want to create. So please don't do that, because Amazon is not going to deduct any money from your card. Only when you are opening an account, 2 rupees. For Indian customer, just 2 rupees will be debited, and again it will be credited back to your account, just to find out if it's a legitimate user or not. And that validity of free tier is 1 year. Many services are free of cost. If at all you get charged for certain services, you will have to pay it manually. It won't get deducted automatically from your card unless and until you select a recurring. Okay, so you can all create free tier and can do a lot of R&D. Yeah, ma'am, you were saying something? Okay, so let me just.
Getting my remark.
Archana ma'am. Yeah, yes, of course, ma'am. Yes, I would love to do that. Archana ma'am is requesting me to take as a mentorship for project. Sure, I'll do that, ma'am.
Thank you, Sonal. We will give you 2-3 projects next year.
Yes, yes. Sure. If you want, I can share multiple projects with you, which you can share with your students, and probably they can pick up the projects from there.
That will be great.
Okay. You mentioned there are certification for facial recognition. Would you please specify a few? Sure, I will do one. Okay. Can you just do one thing? If you just make a search AWS certifications, you will get to see. Or let me do one thing. Let me just put that in the slide itself about the certification URL, wherein you can get all the details. What the scope of certification and everything. Give me a moment. The skills required for each certification, everything is clearly given in the on the website of AWS. The best part of AWS is that you have all the documentation, everything on aws.amazon.com. Everything is on just one single portal. So just visit it oftenly. If you are planning to make your career in AWS, you just visit the console, the portal, so that you will get a lot of new things, a lot of learning documentation, and you can Hello. Okay. So you can, I've put that in the PPT as well, the URL. Okay, I have AWS IoT certificate where, oh, it's quite useful, Shweta. IoT certification, IoT has it's a good demand in the market. Good that you have this certification. Really appreciate that. Try doing some project, Shweta, on IoT, and you can put that in your profile as well. You mentioned there are certification. Okay, so I have put that faculty, friends, and okay. Yes, ma'am. Same here. Even I'm so happy that they are interacting, because unless and until they interact, it becomes difficult for the speaker to understand the audience. So really appreciate that all the audience over here is quite interactive today. So that motivates me as well. Any course or platform for learning that you suggest, Nikhil? Course, as I said, you can pick up any cloud provider, AWS, Azure, whichever you want, but focus on one at a time, complete their beginner certification, and then switch over to the next provider. And the course you said, right? Okay, so course, I can say there are many courses available now. It depends on how self-motivated you are. If you can sit and learn yourself, there are many YouTube videos are available to learn AWS, Azure, or any other technology for that sake. So you can opt for that. Or if you want some live sessions, then you can opt for a webinar like this, or you can opt for any institution. But I don't know, like in lockdown period, how many institutions are open right now, but I'm not sure about in Nanded. Do we have these courses running in Nanded? But yes, of course, you can opt for a webinar. Live sessions, I feel that live session has a good this one, because you can get the answers clarified immediately, right? So just check whichever you feel comfortable. Why it hasn't that in domain for Indian region services? Why, like we get in Amazon shopping website? Hey, Nikhil, okay, you are talking about is Amazon.com, right? Right, Nikhil? See, Amazon, why? Because the services are globally available. You whatever you're hosting, you want that it should be available globally, right? Not for one particular location or geography. Any connection between data science and AWS? Of course, a lot of connections, Sumit. As I said before, it's like a mall wherein you have everything. See, Amazon is a service provider who provides the services under all the categories. Okay, you have machine learning services, you have analytics, AI, all are there. So it's up to you which service you want to use. Thanks, Abhishek. Yes, of course, Sumit, big data is also there. Big data services are also there with Amazon. College tie-up is possible with Amazon for getting student certification. That's something ma'am has to answer. Director ma'am. Ma'am, the question is, college tie-up is possible with Amazon for getting student certification.
Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If that is available and like college can do, we'll do definitely.
Thanks, ma'am. Okay, Suraj says if any country banned AWS, then it's possible to use AWS by proxy server. Okay, I'm not sure, Suraj, on that. Not tested that as such. Usually, see, I'll tell you, Suraj. Amazon has data centers in all the countries who have allowed. Okay, so they don't have the data centers in. If you look for China, it doesn't have a data center for China. They have their own cloud over there, right? So no, because see, it is not just AWS has to allow proxy. It is the local service provider, internet service provider should allow the proxy, and I think it will not be allowed. If the local government is not allowing to use some other provider, it definitely won't be allowed. Okay, Sarah, for you, just a moment. I will once again would like to share my console with you. Where is my console? Okay. Yeah. So hope you can see my screen. So as I go to the services, how can use it in machine learning? So as I scroll down, can you see here the services under machine learning? So you, as I said, there are services for machine learning also offered by Amazon. Okay, but you have to learn those services, right? It's machine learning is something which is a quite vast technology, and data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, a good demand in the market like a cloud. So these are the niche technologies, and you guys have a fresh mind, young, you have a lot of opportunity for learning this. To better utilize your time, this lockdown has given a benefit of the time benefit you all are getting. So keep learning, guys, keep updating yourself with the latest technology in the market, and I'm sure you will conquer the world, right? So only with your skills you can shape your future. That is what I can say. And the best thing about this knowledge is that even corona cannot touch your knowledge, right? So it's better to learn, upgrade yourself. Any more questions for me? Anything I missed? Is Azure part of AWS? No, Abhishek. Azure is a different cloud provider. They are competitors. Azure is a Microsoft platform. AWS is Amazon platform. Yeah, someone has raised the hand. Did I miss any question from you? Hope I am audible. Yes,
Yes.
seems to be audible. Yeah. Someone raised the hand, but not can't see any chat in the chat box. So are we done with question, guys? Anybody, any question?
I think no, ma'am. We had covered all the questions from YouTube also.
Oh, that's great. Uh, okay, Siddiqui says, no, Abhishek says we want more session. Yes, definitely, we will see into that, Siddiqui. Sorry, Abhishek. AWS and DevOps, yes, Siddiqui. DevOps is one of the again the hot technology, and have a lot of demand from the job prospects also. Yes, you do have DevOps also available in AWS. See, all these are, let me tell you something. See, it's not like only one thing is provided. See, when they are providing something as to general public, they have to offer everything. See, definitely, like, let's say, let me give you a comparison. You between two restaurants, one restaurant who is serving only Indian food, the other restaurant is a multi-cuisine restaurant. Which one will you prefer? Surely you will prefer multi-cuisine, wherein you can check, you have multiple options available, right? Similarly here, every cloud provider, they have to provide multiple things. See, these days we prefer doing shopping in a mall compared to going to an individual shop, right? It's just like that. So unless and until they provide all the services required for the current market for by the customer, they cannot sustain in the market, right? So yes, they have everything, whether it's a big data, machine learning, analytics, or DevOps, everything is there, or everything is being provided. But what I said, as I said before, you first start learning the core services. Focus on core services. Once you're comfortable with that, then you just jump on to the other services. Okay, because core services, you will be interviewed in on the core services only mainly. If you are comfortable with core services, then, because see, not necessarily that you, if you have learned big data services, you will be interviewed on big data. You might be put in a different profile also possible. But the core services which are required for all the, by all organization, right? So you should focus on the core services first, and that's what the AWS offers, the beginner certification known as cloud practitioner, which covers the core services. Okay, and there are many more services. Intro is being given over there. So it's a good course. Excuse me, it's a good course. You can opt for that. And once you do some hands-on and all, you can easily clear that certification. Hey, thank you so much, Shiv Prasad. Aditya says, is database type like MongoDB, Oracle, MySQL matters in the fast execution in cloud server? Which database? Yes, a good question. Yes, Aditya, it does matter. Every database has its own features. Every database has its own performance benchmark, I can say. Okay, so based on, again, I cannot say that MongoDB is good than Oracle or MySQL. It totally depends on your requirement, how much of data you're going to put, how much of IOs are going to happen. Accordingly, you will have to choose the right type of database by comparing against the features, your requirement with the features, and then you will have to opt for that. But yes, of course, there are, because see, not just on a database side, you have products available for other categories also, right? So many, for each category you have multiple products, and then you have to make a choice. It should be a well informed choice wherein you understand your requirement and then you match with the availability. Okay, cloud computing career opportunities in India. Yes, Jayesh, let me tell you, there are enterprise customers who are, many of the customers have already migrated their existing on-prem data center to the cloud. Some customers are in the migration, and some customers, what we call it as born in the cloud, means they have started their data center journey from the cloud itself. Okay, like many mid-size or a startup, they have started. So there is a huge opportunity for Indian customer. Earlier, Amazon had only 2 data center, just till last year, only 2 data center for Indian customer. But looking at the response and the customers who are using, has added one more data center recently this year. So now 3 data centers we have for Indian customer. Yes, a lot of opportunities are there for Indian customer as well. Okay. Thanks for that update, Abhishek. So, Rahul sir, I think you can share the feedback link with all of them. Those who do not have questions, just one sec, guys. Ma'am, do you want to say something?
Yes, so thank you for you and best wishes to your husband too. Both of you happen to be alumni.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Sonal. It was a very informative lecture.
Hope it was
Yeah, it's
helpful to
beautiful.
the attendees.
Yes,
I would
yes.
like to take a few more questions are there. Can you suggest any platform for learning machine learning? Okay. See, I am not from that portfolio, Sumit. I would like to take up this question offline, and we'll just share the information with Rahul sir, and he will share across with you. Would like to give you the best one available in the market for machine learning. Okay. And there are good courses for machine learning, so we'll provide you all that details to Rahul sir. Right? Please suggest the courses which focus on building own cloud rather than using cloud services. Okay, building your own cloud, Manisha. A good this one, Manisha. See, for building your own cloud, you need to have all the infra components, Manisha. You will have to have everything what is required for the customer, required by the customer. Okay, so yes, of course, there are vendors in the market who have a small cloud-like setup, I can say, who are focusing on few organization and providing services to few of the organization. Many I have seen in the Bangalore. So they are focusing on only few customers. So that way also you can go and you can focus on one particular industry or from one particular industry few customers, and you can do a setup for them. That is also possible. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, and really appreciate all of your presence here. And it really motivates when you all interact. Good to see your interest, and please keep yourself learning, update yourself, utilize the time. And as I said, you can shape your career only with your skills. No one, that is something which is very personal to you. No one can take your skills away from you, and you can sustain in any situation if you are skilled. Okay, so really thankful for all of you joining, and thank you so much, Director Ma'am. I always say Princey Ma'am, now Ma'am has gone to multiple levels up, and it's really, I feel really proud to connect with Ma'am, and she is always an inspiration for all of us. Whatever I have learned so far and whatever I'm doing today, it's all because of her inspiration. Though we have not interacted much in person during college days, but yes, you were always my inspiration, ma'am. Thank you so much for all that.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure to be there. And though like we don't get connected frequently, but I don't experience any gap.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because your memory is so powerful. You remember all your students, and
I
you make
never
the students
gap.
feel so special.
Okay, that is
It makes us feel so special, ma'am.
I feel I'm privileged. I'm privileged to have this love and attention from you all. Thank you so much.
So,
Over to you,
are we
Samruddhi.
good to close, Archana, ma'am?
Yeah. Thank you, Sonal. It was a very informative and wonderful
Thank you
session.
so much. Yeah, Archana ma'am, thanks for taking
Yeah.
all these efforts, and uh, because it's not easy to organize such a big one. It's like almost so many participants are there. I'm really really impressed by the way you have all
Yeah, and
organized it.
all our efforts are recognized by you and your session, wonderful session. We will keep in touch, Sonal, and we will
Yeah, sure,
frequently try
sure.
to keep your sessions on different
Yes,
topics
yeah,
whenever
yeah.
possible. Thank you
Most welcome.
so much.
Thank you so
Say
much,
our
guys. So,
hi.
yeah.
Say my hi to our Sanjay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. See
Over
you.
to
Okay,
you,
guys. So,
Samruddhi.
bye bye.
Best wishes
Bye.
for both of you.
Yeah,
Ma'am, please stay for some time. Sonal ma'am.
And I
yeah,
think
sure.
all the efforts of Archana madam and her team have given the best results today. What should I say?
Thank you.
Samruddhi.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such enthusiastic and brightening session of yours. It was a great opportunity to interact with demanding and trending technology with such skilled and experienced one as you in this lockdown. Thank you so much once again, ma'am. Now I would like to request our faculty coordinator, Mr. RGB Sensor, to please conduct a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Samruddhi. Hello, everyone. A warm good afternoon to one and all attending this session. It gives me immense pleasure expressing the vote of thanks on this occasion. In this critical situation of lockdown, Department of Computer Science and Engineering had organized this national technical webinar on Introduction to Cloud Computing and AWS. As it is said, leadership is not position or title. It is an action and example. Our director madam is such an example of action. I take this opportunity to thank our respected director, Dr. Geeta Lathur Madam, for standing behind this project of webinar as guiding force. Her positive approach always gives us the inspiration we require as a fuel to run such energetic programs. I would now like to acknowledge my sincere gratitude and thanks to our head of the department, Dr. Archana Rajurkar Madam, who had always provided encouragement and worked hard for framing this webinar. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for the speaker of today's webinar, Sonal Sarda ma'am, who had explained the concept of cloud computing and AWS so energetically and solved different queries of the participants. It was really an informative and interactive session, ma'am. We look forward the same help and support for her in future also. Last but not the least, I, along with my faculty coordinator, Mr. Junaid Khan, and student coordinators, Kartiki, Abhishek, Bharat, Sumit, Nikhil, and Gargi, thanks all the participants who had spread their valuable time to attend this webinar. I also thank to all those who directly and indirectly contributed for this webinar project. Thank you. I would also like to give one short announcement to all the participants of today's webinar. Now this at the end, as many of the participants were asking for the feedback form link, now we will be sharing this feedback form link in the chat and the WhatsApp group. Now I would like to say that spare some your valuable time to give your feedback. This feedback is not only important for us to improve further, but also equally important for you also. Because as you fill this form, you will get a e-certificate which will be directly mailed to you. It may take almost 2 or 3 days to get e-certificate to all the participants. I request for patience to all the participants who had participated for this webinar. Thank you. Thank you all.
Rahul sir, I will share the presentation with you. You can share with all
Okay.
the participants. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah. And I'll share other, there was one question on this one, I guess, machine learning, right? Good courses for machine learning. So we'll share the details also with you, Rahul sir.
Yeah.
So are we done? Shall we close?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much, all
Sonal.
of you. Thank you,
Yeah.
NGM.
Thank you, Sonal.
Thank you, ma'am. Good to see you all.
Mhm.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
ma'am.
bye.
Sir, आपने चिल्ड्रन फ्रॉम